Lord Miles has returned. You may remember Lord Miles as the mad lad of Afghanistan, the chap who turned up to have a holiday, and then the country collapsed within like 2 days of him arriving.
It's so annoying when that happens.
Yeah, so he actually got out of it pretty good. It's not just the fact that he got out, but also we'll get into why he ended up getting paid.
Nice.
Because he got insurance. So so I just wanted to go through this because, quite frankly, Miles, mad lad, I've got a bit of a soft spot for him, especially with him with his physics background and whatnot. There's a lot of him that I just find funny and charming, and so this is him doing his updates. So he finally broke his silence. He's been silent, and the reason was because of his university. They were threatening to kick him out because students talking about their holidays is banned. Because again, Miles didn't break any laws.
No.
Didn't do anything illegal, bad, wrong. No, he went on holiday to Afghanistan. The international intelligence agencies were saying it wouldn't collapse, so you can make that argument. It might have been a bit silly in our eyes and your eyes, but it doesn't really matter. It literally is just a holiday. Anyway, so here's him posting here. In my student accommodation dining room, we had a quote board. One quote about me. All we can do is encourage him. Nothing has changed. Ladies and gentlemen, Season 2 of Goofing Off, Operation First Contact is being prepared. So there you have him having fun, which is just good fun. Anyway, so I thought we'd go back to Afghanistan just for a minute because he posted some stuff that wasn't released and has now been released, so it's just him goofing off at a bird market, for example, and wondering if Tesco's can price match the birds. I mean, Tesco's, you've been called out. Anyway, moving on, so we go to the next one. We have him. He actually met the ANA, or at least a portion of the ANA, it seems, which...
The Afghan National Army.
Yes, and you can see him saying here, got threatened at gunpoint because they thought I was a spy.
I mean, I would.
Yeah. Talked them down, and they were chill. We hung out, goofing off together, and they even invited me for tea. Lovely chaps. Again,
this guy has mad charisma.
The charisma is so disarming. And he continues saying here, also they freaked out at one point because the turreted machine gun was loaded without the safety on, typical ANA. Sadly, they didn't have enough ammo to shoot some rocks, but they said I should come back the next day to do so. Sadly, the country collapsed. And as you can see there, him posting about one of the guys being like, But again, with the wasting of the ammo, but this isn't about Afghanistan, this is about Miles, so we'll ignore all of that. But anyway, we have the next one here, which is him explaining why he left, and in his own words. My uni said I couldn't post on social media. Fair enough. I disagree, but whatever, okay. Then he said I couldn't publish my book, despite 100% of the profits going towards charity. That money is going to my tour guide. Therefore, I dropped out because I'm not putting my degree over him.
Well, that seems like a real intrusion. What right has the university got to say what he can do with his book?
None. They have nothing to say about what he can say about his holiday either.
Yeah.
So his book...
Very strange. Which is his university again?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I shall look it up.
If you can, because shame him, honestly. I can't get over the ghoul of being the university administration and doing that. Like, number one, we're going to force the student not to talk about his holiday. Loughborough. So screw Loughborough. Anyway, but the idea that he can't get a book deal, even though he explained to them, look, I'm going to use the money for charity and to get the translator out of Afghanistan because his life's at risk.
Yes.
I mean, people may not remember, but the guy who led Miles around, the tour guide, he was a chap who I think he explained had worked with the government and whatnot, and he feared for his life, justifiably, and therefore you could get him out and send him to some other Middle Eastern country would be safe. That would be the thing to do there, if he's one of your friends and you're the government, right? So Miles wanted to help him out with that. And the university was just like, nah, screw that guy. Great. Fantastic. Anyway, he continues. I used to be homeless for a few months. It was rough. I remember the feeling of the cold and the desperation. I'd rather risk becoming homeless again by dropping out over turning my back on God and not helping my tour guide financially with this book. I mean, again, the religious part of Miles as well coming through. And the
bold statement.
Yeah, I mean, he's been there, so he'll do it again, he says. I mean, you got to give him props. I mean, if nothing else, if you hate the guy, it doesn't matter. I mean, quite frankly, you got to give him props for this. So he continues in the subsequent tweets about what he's up to, and it's all good fun. So let's go to the next one, in which he says he actually did get the book deal.
Good.
So this is great news. So he would like to announce that I've got a book deal with Antelope Hill with 100% of my side going towards charity, and we've been laughing about how absurdly base the book is so far. Please follow them to see their link to the book so far. One of the funny things is he even said that he decided to share a snippet of the book, and I thought we'd give it a read.
Yeah.
So it's only fair I give a snippet of the book. This is when I met the Taliban, after the takeover, but before I arrived at the safe house. Quote, eventually, some men approached us with my tour guide being dismissed from the conversation. The Taliban members wanted to speak to me. They both asked me in broken English where I was from. Although I understood them better than most of my friends with Birmingham accents, with myself putting on a slight charming grin and stating Wales. The two looked at each other, confused, and replied, "Where's Wales?" I replied by saying that it's a small country and that they hate the British. They both looked at each other and erupted in laughter. They were so satisfied with me bad-mouthing of Britain that they took that as an adequate answer, shaking my hand and walking away whilst telling me to enjoy the country. The book also mentions American Psycho many times. Very based. But it's just a great story.
Yeah.
You know, this is the thing that got mentioned at the time, which is just he was asked by the Taliban, "Are you British?" And it's just like, "No, Wales." I don't know what Wales is. Okay. Not going to get beheaded today, and that's the solution. If you're British, just mention Wales, and no one knows what that is. So,
I mean, to be fair, that excuse would work on Labour as well. No, we hate the British.
Yeah.
Don't pick on us.
I mean, I think there were some posters. Remember when the Taliban were on Twitter and they were getting sent messages from like 4chaners who were just like, "Don't worry, friend, we also hate the Americans. We're the Spanish," or something like that. Anyway, it's the whole other thing. So there's the book. He's got the book deal, so that will be going ahead, and he will be using the money as he says, which is, you know, fantastic. I mean, he was looking for it, and he's got it, and he's going to be able to help some people, so nice. Anyway, so this also leads to the really funny statement that's also true, which is, if we go to the next one here, "Got persecuted more by my university than I did by the Taliban," shaking my head. "The liberal uni fears the adventurer," which, in his personal case, that is actually true. The Taliban did less to him than his university did. And again, did nothing criminal. So the fact that the university even thinks they have anything to say in this matter was absurd. Never mind the idea of him getting a book deal and them even trying to shut that down. So anyway, we continue, and there's some funny stuff in here. So someone responds to him saying universities are full of nonsense anyway, which is Lamal. Next one, please. So, and then he responds by saying, "Speaking of that, anyone want to hear the story where I got a PhD lecturer in my department kicked out of my university last year for catfishing and raping students for 8 years?" Yes.
Yeah, I do want to hear that.
Yeah,
story.
I do want to hear that story. And good. F that guy. I mean, what a nonce. Okay. Yeah. Well, technically not a nonce, I guess, if it's university because it's illegal at that age. But still, what the? Well, the raping part's not, so that's true. Loser. Anyway, but good on Miles, and if he wants to release that story, I'll buy the book as well. So there's some other stuff about his trip in Afghanistan that I thought was worth mentioning. So if we go to the next one, we have him also saying, "On the return flight back from Afghanistan, I took out terrorism travel insurance for £4, as you do, you know, go to Afghanistan, get terrorism travel insurance, which would basically refund a good portion of the trip, free holiday." And you can see the email there he gets back. "Hi, Miles, we've processed your refund of £257.67, which will reach your account within 5 business days. Kind regards, travel agency." So, okay, like he literally got paid to go there.
64-1 return.
Not bad. I mean, good bet. Yeah. As we carry on, we also have his response to some of the social media reaction, because this is a weird one. So after getting back from Kabul, I had a few porn stars, models, and OnlyFans people DM me asking to hook up. Here is one example. "I wish them all the best, but deny premarital sex. It isn't Christian. I regret all sexual encounters I had in my atheist days, waiting till marriage." And, I mean, kind of based. I mean, like, some thought just messages him, being like, "Hi, Miles. I made a Facebook so I could slide into your DMs and ask if you wanted to hook up, because I'm intrigued by your BDE. I don't know what that means. But, big D energy is I'm hearing from John. Not something I'm used to. Anyway, so the... Don't talk like this. Anyway, but the thought is just like taking pictures of themselves nude and sending it to him. And I love Miles' response, which is basically just like, "Be gone, thought. Like, don't want to have to deal with this." So he responds to her saying, "Hello, blank. No thank you. Sorry, but this isn't a good thing to do and won't make you feel great in the long term. I saw your Twitter. Why did you say it was your life mission to F me, by the way?" I mean, fair point. We can call and talk through normal things if you want, some questions answering or something. You don't need none of the above." And then a bunch of the other stuff where he's just like, you know, "Be Catholic, no premarital sex." Which, yeah, I mean, he's Catholic, so... You know,
he's sticking to his convictions.
He's living it.
He's not letting fame get to his head.
Yeah.
Or to any other part of his body by the sound of it.
That's also the case. So we carry on as well. There's also some other funny stuff that he had on here. So some life hacks, for example. So here's one life hack he decided to release. "Every day goofing off, I put a credit card inside this toy phone. I pay contactless at the shop with payment going through. I leave them stunned. This has been an official Lord Miles hack. If you can scroll down on the phone. For people listening, it's like this pink baby phone that you would like give to a kid to pretend they have a phone. But I mean, if you put the contactless chip in it, yeah, you could just pay. I don't know. This is what I mean by the charisma. It's just kind of cutesy.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. There's some other life hacks. So if you're making a LinkedIn account, here's another life hack. Reminder that I couldn't be bothered to put on a suit for my LinkedIn profile pic, so I just photoshopped myself into one with almost nobody noticing. And as you can see, it doesn't have the same like skin tone.
Yeah.
It's not him. But also, I didn't notice until he pointed out either. So
The collar looks slightly weird, but yeah, no, that's a good hack.
Works. So if you
Why
can't
pay all
bother,
that money to buy/rent a suit when you can just Photoshop one?
have to take a fancy picture? I think not. I'm going to Shutterstock.com. Anyway, so there's that life hack. There's also some retarded life hacks,
Okay.
but funny. So he says in here, I have 12 plus credit cards with zero debt and a credit limit of £100,000 plus. I can max them out along with large number of loans and run away to remote Siberia and live very comfortably in a cabin.
This is not financial advice.
This is not financial advice. I have a 60-page PDF on how I would do this, just waiting on Starlink at Elon Musk. Don't. I don't know how else to say that. Seems like a lot of financial risk. I'm pretty sure they will actually track you down in Russia as well. Because I think the payment system is global, isn't it? I mean, I don't know where you could go, except maybe like the Cayman Islands or something.
I wouldn't venture to speculate.
Anyway, but also a 60-page PDF on how to do this. Of course, Lotus Miles has written a 60-page PDF on his trip, right?
I mean, to be fair, I would like to read that. That sounds quite interesting.
But anyway, he's waiting on Starlink because, then you could live stream the whole thing, which would be a laugh. I'll give him that. So anyway, he's deciding the next trip, and he has some ideas for the next trip. One for London, perhaps. Going to the most dangerous destination today, lads. London. Pray for my safety. Praying hands. Nah, it's a bit too dangerous. So where is he going instead? Not London. London's too bad. South Sudan. He's going to go to South Sudan.
Okay.
People who might not know of anything about South Sudan is probably the worst place on earth right now, and has been ever since it got independence from Sudan, because it's literally just factions fighting each other in endless civil wars for no real reason, and Sudanese things. So next trip, December time, in landing in South Sudan, Juba, and then walking hundreds of miles, that's my name, crossing into Kenya to meet a friend. I'm also going to make this a charity event, and it will be documented in glorious 4K 60 FPS for all of you to see. And he's not joking. Like, some of these, like, I'm just like, that's got to be a meme. And then no, it actually is real. So he's also planning some other goofing around. So if we go to the next one, this one's just funny, which is he says he went to Pompeii and found a coin, probably a replica. And when I go to South Sudan, I'm going to drop it somewhere to confuse a future archaeologist who do a lot of trolling. Gold. I mean, could you imagine being the archaeologist? Anyway.
There is actually a tradition of doing this.
Seriously?
Yeah. I can't bring up any specific examples, but there have been a number of cases where, for example, in the Far East, they've found coins on somewhere like Jeju Island where they should not be. Just the time period, nothing matches up. And one of the theories is that it is people doing this sort of thing, basically trolling archaeologists by going there later and putting historical coins in.
I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
It's funny. Anyway, moving on, we have some more from him on this as well, which is that he has actually booked the flight. So he says here, book the flight to South Sudan. Please donate to the GoFundMe so I can help people and document the trip. $30 is a month's salary in South Sudan. Yeah. So he's actually going to do it. And the GoFundMe itself is also real. And if we carry on, he continued to put some like stretch goals, let's say, for the trip. So he says, South Sudan to Kenya is too risky. If we hit £1,000 on the GoFundMe, I'm doubling down and doing this route live streaming wherever there is internet. I am Lord Miles. And if you scroll down, you can see the route he's planning on walking for 24 days and 21 hours between South Sudan, around Rwanda and Burundi, round all the way to Kenya.
Unless that boy has an immune system made of adamantium, I think he's going to struggle with that.
There are a lot of jabs to be taken.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay. I don't know what to make of the fact that this just seems to be like his life now. Like, you know, went to Afghanistan, almost got killed. Well, let's try that again. This time with South Sudan, which is even more lawless. Okay, so let's move on. So we have some other stuff from him. in which he lays out what he's going to do. So he says in the response to this, if you can scroll down, if you can scroll down on that one, he just has what could go wrong, what could go wrong, what could go wrong. But yeah, a lot could go wrong. But, that's part of the fun, I guess. Anyway, so let's go to the next one, in which he has the fact that they did reach the £1,000 stretch goal, so he's going to be spending Christmas in the African jungle. Have fun. Enjoy. He's actually going to do it. God, please don't die. It'll be embarrassing. So we also have him making documents about it, which is where it's kind of autistic, like majorly autistic. But I mean,
right.
I don't think he takes that as an insult. So this is a PDF here, 262 pages long, in which he has written down his plans for this entire trip.
260 pages.
Yes. Bit weird.
Do you reckon he wrote this while he was in quarantine?
Maybe.
The hotel on the way back with nothing to do.
I mean, we'll ask him, I guess. What else is he going to do while he's in there? Well, he's also got some ideas of what he's going to do for entertainment, of course, because, 24 days of walking is kind of boring. So he's come up with some ideas of what he's going to do. So we go to the next one. We have an example in which it's also a meme saying girls with autism versus boys with autism. And, of course, you have the girl with the little excited hands and Lord Miles in the corner saying, "Last night I put together several hard drives worth of media for suddenly running off into the woods to start a new life. I spent 4 hours cutting out all the sex scenes from the media. All media was downscaled to 480p to save storage. Bible movies and American Psycho was upscaled to 4K. He actually did as well. It's not even a joke. Like, he tweeted out later on some, like, images of, like, all the different films and what he'd done to them. It's like, right, okay. This is kind of mad, but...
I just do not understand this human being.
Yeah, but I mean, this is what the kind of person you got to be to do these kind of things, I guess. Which, yeah, I can't help but watch. It's interesting, and the guy's funny. And then we have the last one here, which is him getting his vaccines. And he is actually going to go to South Sudan and has got the vaccines for it, which neat. That's it, really. I don't really have anything to say other than I can't stop watching. And it's like with the Afghanistan thing, where he's wandering around and almost getting killed by the Taliban. I mean, it's the best reality TV show you could ever ask for.
Yeah, it beats daytime TV, hands down.
Yeah, I mean, there is nothing more interesting. It's just funny. I mean, there's no political aspect to it. I don't really have an opinion on, any of the discussions about whether or not he should have been there or his university being mad, which I do have an opinion on that, which is screw them. But the whole thing I just kind of like as just like, hey, this is happening. This is neat. Living meme itself. If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast, The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com and sign up to get access to all the premium content we have on the site.
Yeah, we've got absolutely loads of it because we've been doing this for over a year now, so we've got a massive library of content that we're really, really proud of. We've got loads of premium articles which we have written by our in-house writers and external writers, such as this one by Hugo, which is talking about the great narrative of the World Economic Forum and how it's falling apart. The cracks are becoming visible. And we also have, for silver tier members and above, an audio track read by Jonathan Crow, who's a very, very good speaker, and this makes it easier for you. We also have our regular series, such as Contemplations, like this one, where I debate Josh about whether free will's an illusion or not. I am very firmly on the free will exists side of things, and Josh is wrong, but you can find out why if you go and sign up. We also have the epochs that Bo and I do, which is fantastic. At the moment, we're halfway through, or 2/3 of the way through the series on Belisarius. Do you know who Belisarius is, Callum?
Got to reconquered Rome.
Yes, he did. And
lost it.
It's honestly a genuine tragedy, and it's a really sad tale. And we're just at the apex of his conquests at the moment. But next week, we'll get to enjoy the tragedy of it. It's really sad. But we also do loads of other stuff, like interviews that we did, one recently with Philip Tanzer, who's a men's rights activist and conservative activist. And in this second one, we end up talking about the sort of metaphysics of masculinity. What is it you're trying to uphold by being a man? And I think it's important. Lots there to learn. And he's a very interesting thinker anyway. We also have the book club, which is fantastic. We're about to record another one now, but this last one we did was Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince. So if you want to get the most out of these books, you can join us there, because we've done a lot of work studying these. And we also do premium podcasts covering sensitive subjects, such as what happened to the January the 6th rioters. And we do slightly more academic ones, such as this next one about the origins of intersectionality. Where does the term come from? What's the point of it? Well, I went and read everything that Kimberly Crenshaw wrote about it, and, well, it's not good news, frankly.
In addition, you can also follow us on any of the social medias, such as Getter.com, so you can follow us there at lotuseaters_com, and also you'll be speaking at the Counter Conference conference.
Yes.
since then.
Yeah, the Counts Conference at the London O2 on December the 8th.
Yes.
I'm going to be speaking on a panel with Jason Miller, Lawrence Fox, and a few others. It's going to be fantastic, so come down and see us there.
Anyway, if you'd like to get access to all that premium content or follow everything we do, please sign up at lotuseaters.com. Thank you and goodbye.